Women are going to be the ones that hold the line against fascism. Women, and of course the men who support women. Fascism is, of course, built on racism, and a lot of times there's a socioeconomic factor in there as well. But one of the factors that we're not talking about enough is the subjugation of women. In order for fascism to take off, women have to be completely dependent on men. This is, of course, because women make up 50% of the population. And if men want to be fascists, then, women have to be okay with that too. It's very hard to have a fascist government take over when you only have 50% of the population. Hitler knew this, of course, which is why he made a huge campaign to make sure that women knew that their place was at home. And the Heritage Foundation also knows this as well, which is why in Project 2025, they are targeting women and encouraging women to stay home and take care of the family. It's not to instill traditional family values. It is to make sure that women will subjugate themselves to men willingly. What's the number one reason why women don't leave abusive relationships? It's because it's financially based. They can't afford it. They're scared. How am I going to take care of myself and my children? How am I going to pay for rent? When they don't leave, the abuse just becomes normalized. It just becomes part of their lives. We've seen this in other countries. It's exactly what happened in Iraq. They started pulling girls out of schools. They wouldn't let women go to universities. Therefore, they were unable to get good paying jobs, which made them dependent on men. Saw the same thing in Afghanistan, and look at where Afghanistan is now. And we've seen this in other countries as well. We've seen it in India, we've seen it in Brazil, we've seen it in several African countries. Same thing. Unequal access to education for girls keeps women dependent on men, which keeps men in power and keeps the abuse of women normalized. That's why the women in this administration have to be pick-me bitches. You can't have strong, independent thinking women in this administration. That's going to be a problem for them. That's why the GOP, which, mind you, is a vessel for the Heritage Foundation. They are not loyal to Trump. They're loyal to the Heritage Foundation because Trump is a puppet to the Heritage Foundation. But that is why the GOP just blocked the bill that will allow priests to report pedophiles who confess crimes of pedophilia to them in a curtain. Even though physicians have a duty to do it, priests are not allowed to do it because, again, they need to keep children as property and keep children weak, and they need to keep women in the same position as children. Normalizing abuse by men is how fascist governments stay in power. I see a lot of people's comments on a lot of things saying, it's always the women speaking up, blah, blah, blah. And that is because we have the most to lose. Because women who understand history and women who understand fascism know that the second that we are subjugated, it is game fucking over. And this is not an attack on nuclear families that, it's like, oh, this is what works best for us and I feel safe with my husband and like this is what, whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a collective of women convincing themselves that they should be trad wives. A collection of women convincing themselves that the only time their mouths should be open is to glorify and praise and protect the interests of men, Pam Bondi. This is why they don't want to release the Epstein files, because again, we have to make the abuse of women normalized. We've already normalized rape in this country, and don't tell me we didn't, because look who we elected into office. Countries that don't normalize sexual assault and violence against women don't elect somebody who was found liable for sexual assault into the highest office of their country. So yes, rape is normalized in America. And that is why they do not want the Epstein files released. Yes, it is to protect their orange titted turd or whatever, but it is also because, again, we need to feed this rhetoric. Just forget it. Don't worry about it. We need to normalize rape and abuse of women, which is why it's going to come down to women to hold the line in this country against all this fucking bullshit that's going on. So if you are like me and speaking out, thank you. And just please, whatever you do, please do not stop. And if you're one of these wonderful men that support us and our voices, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much. We are the ones that are going to stop this from happening, but everybody needs to understand what the root is and why we're fighting it.